Hello everyone, welcome to BIM Talk. My name is Ece Çalışkan. Today I will be your host with Cenk.
Hello guys.
Yeah, we are very excited for today's talk. There will be a live demo and we will be designing in Arkio together. By the way, you can ask your questions on YouTube comments anytime during the broadcast. We will be asking them for you. Our topic is Get Hands-On with Your BIM, Collaborative Design with Arkio. Our guests are Hilmar Gunnarsson, founder and CEO of the company, and Johan Hanegraaf, co-founder and head of product of Arkio. Now they will be on screen. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Yes, it's great to have you. So can you introduce yourself very briefly?
Sure. My name is Hilmar Gunnarsson. I'm the founder and CEO of Arkio. Been working on this product for now more than 4 years, and we're super excited. We just launched version 1.0 this summer.
Great.
Yep. My name is Johan Hanegraaf. I have a background in architecture. I joined the Arkio team 3 years ago, and focusing on the product of Arkio and how it fits into the architectural workflow.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. What is Arkio actually? Let's dive into the topic directly.
So Arkio is a new collaborative design tool for architecture that works across VR, AR, phones, tablets, and desktop PCs. And maybe the best way just to explain it is to show you a very brief video before we're going to dive into the live demo.
Okay, it would be great.
So let me try to share my screen here. Here. And like this. Do you see the video playing now?
Yeah, it's working.
So with Arkio, you can model basically with your own hands in VR. You can jump into human scale. You can move objects around and sculpt them basically as if you're sculpting physical building blocks. You can easily jump into the scene, work with other people in real time. Here you can see Johan and me working on a design together. Everything's happening in real time as we're sculpting this building and placing props and so on it. You can both work on exteriors and interiors, so you can work on any scale. You can import models from Revit, from Rhino, from SketchUp, from BIM 360, and place them in the scene and work with them there. You can work from tablets, from phones, so you don't really need to have a VR headset for all of this to work. Even in AR, and we'll give you an example of that during the live demo. It's possible to create all kinds of interesting geometry when you're working inside Arkio to create new design options. And when you're done working in Arkio, you can also just simply export your designs back to your favorite design tool, be it Rhino, Revit, SketchUp, etc. So that's kind of the highlights of what's possible, but it's much better to show you all this in a live demo. So maybe you should just jump into that.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even the video is quite exciting. I would like to see it.
Good.
Hello again.
So,
I somehow disconnected, but reconnect again. Sorry for that.
So what we're going to do is I will be using the PC version of Arkio to show you what that looks like on my screen. And Johan will be joining me inside VR and explain some of the basics of Arkio. And of course, you know, feel free to join us there and have a little bit of fun with us. So let me try to share my Arkio screen.
Okay. By the way, I and Cenk already downloaded Arkio from the website. It just took a few minutes, and now we joined their room, let's say. We are all together here.
All right. So here we are. Take it away, Johan.
Hey, can everyone see me? Move around.
Yep.
So when we are talking about Arkio, it's often good to talk a bit about the architectural process. So we're all familiar with working with 3D models, and we often work on these 3D models on 2D screens. we now have technologies to step inside these models using virtual and augmented reality. But when we want to make a change to the design, we have to go back to our 2D screen, make the change, and export things back to VR. With Arkio, we want to reimagine what architectural design can be like when you're not bound by 2D screens, where you can use your hands to interact with that model, where you can create new geometry on top of this model or carve into it and make adjustments by just pushing in the model. And we see Arkio as a 3D tracing paper where you can load existing models from other design tools, make new design suggestions on top of that model, and load those back into the other tool. So we have integrations with Autodesk Revit, with Rhino, SketchUp, and BIM 360, and it's a bi-directional link that we have. So you can bring your models in from Revit, but you can also bring your Arkio creations back to any of these tools. So like one of the key benefits of Arkio is that it works on any device. So I'm using a VR headset right now, but you can also join with other devices, like we'll show later. And that you can experience and collaborate on these models from any scale and together with multiple people.
So why don't you jump over to the building next door, Johan, and show how all this works?
Actually, this is really great. I really like the product and how you present it. So
Thank you.
In one moment we are in the room, and now we are looking bird view from the building. This is
you guys can see everything, right? So
Yes.
everything that we're doing live. So
this is a new way of presenting. Actually, I never seen like this before.
We actually seen some architecture firms use Arkio to present, new projects and win projects using Arkio like this. So it's definitely one of the main use cases we have.
It's really great, actually.
So I'm now using the PC version, as I said. You can see the toolbar that I have here up on the top of my screen. These are the same tools as Johan has in VR, and I can work with him on this model as he's working inside VR. I can open my Create tool, for example, and let's say I want to plant a tree somewhere on the building. I just place it like this. You can see how that appeared. So Johan can see that all on his end. If he is working on some geometry here, I can start to make edits to that on my end. So as he's doing this, I can start to pull on these faces, and he sees that happening on his end.
Are there any limitations of that? So maybe Johan do not want to edit his model.
Yes. We actually do have a feature in Arkio where I can be limited to be only a viewer and not be allowed to do any edits. So that's a part also what we do. But the idea here is that you can have any number of people, well, at least up to 24 people get together in space like this and just create a new design option, present design options. Just like he can be in any scale in the model, I can also jump into the model in what we call human scale. Let's say I jump to this corner of the building, and now I see him working on this.
This is so great, actually.
Here.
So we can design together a building or anything with that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's really great, actually. We have.
It would be interesting to show a bit how it looks from VR, that we can show a bit the interactions.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I'll stop sharing my screen and you can share yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow I disconnected from Arkio because of my computer. AJ, if you...
I'm still there.
Okay, if you're available, you can share your screen.
So, Johan, you go ahead and share your screen.
I'm sharing the screen. Are you seeing it?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it is working.
This is how we...
Okay. Yes, this is how you perceive everything from VR. So you have two hands, and
like
everything that you do is with your hands. So I can just touch the geometry I want to move. So in this case, the top plane, and I can stretch it up like that. Or I can pick up this tree and move it on here, or pick up the entire geometry like that. And most of the basic interactions we do with just touching the geometry, but we also have a small tool palette like that you can enable to select and switch between the different tools that we have. And for example, if I place, let's just place a smaller tree over here, I can add some people on the roof here. And there's various tools that we have. It goes into too much depth to go through all of them, but the most important thing to show is that you can actually work and scale. So I can make this model 1 to 200 and just look around it. But I can also jump to the human scale right over here and look up and see how that design looks from here. And Hilmar can even join me. Actually, I can invite everyone to join me here behind me.
Yes.
So you guys will all be behind me. And then from here, we can keep editing the model. So I can just pick up that point over there and keep stretching it from this scale even. And I can move that tree around from a distance. Or I can make myself a lot bigger. And then you guys would see me really picking up the geometry like a physical model.
It's really great. You can work with different scales, and there's no difficulty here. You can easily go from one to another, and I think you can also take some notes here.
Yeah, I see someone
exactly
making notes.
Really great.
Sorry to interrupt.
Should we move back to your screen, Hilmar, or should we go to Revit and Rhino maybe a bit?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about the Revit integration? Sorry, you have a question?
No, I was going to ask, like, when you export it, is it going to be a mass Revit model? Like, how does
yes. So the models that we bring in, they get bring in using our plugin. So you can export the designs as they are. To import, you get the option to just pick a file. I think let's see if I have this scene somewhere. Not yet, so I need to quickly make an export. So let's just do that. And I'm just going to export this in Revit.
How long does it take to download or export the model to Arkio?
That depends on the size of the model, because we do some optimization on the Revit geometry, so to make it more suitable for mobile devices. Also for the like the scene that you bring in, it depends on the size of the model that you bring in, how long this will take. So here I'm just bringing in this model. This gives me the option to import either generic model or meshes. Meshes will combine all the individual segments into a one solid geometry. Generic models gives you the individual objects that you work with. And what it does is everything that we see here in Arkio, every object that got placed, so for example that tree or like some of this geometry that got made, it gets converted to native Revit components or Revit families. And this solid geometry over here will be converted to direct shapes in Revit. So you can directly keep working with that geometry, and this apartment that we have in here will all be included in there as well. So let's see this.
Actually, just a sec. Sorry to interrupt. There's a question about it. Will it be possible to export to other softwares, for example, ArchCAD? We always talk about Revit and.
So currently we have the integrations that we have are with Revit, Rhino, SketchUp, and BIM 360. So I didn't add that one yet here. We are looking into other tools as well. So that will be coming, like if you keep an eye on our websites, we'll give you an information about when that comes.
Thank you.
So I think this might take a while, the Revit to import. So I will just use the Rhino plugin quickly to show you. Rhino doesn't want.
Actually, we have two more questions. Let's ask it. This one comes from Salih Banja. Is Arkio's performance only related with computer and internet? Does performance drop when large models are loaded?
So can you repeat the start of the question?
Of course. Is Arkio's performance only related with computer and internet? Does performance drop when large models are loaded? Actually, you kind of answered this question. It's similar with mine. I think so since this is a software we downloaded, I think it's related with computer and internet, both of them.
It's mostly related to your hardware that you're running on, because once like what we do is like the session that we're in now, like we see each other, we see what's happening. If your internet connection is bad, it just takes a while for the geometry updates to continue. But once it's loaded, it's all processed in your device. So based on the device that if you're using a smartphone, for example, or a portable Oculus Quest, one of these new wireless headsets, they don't have that much power. So you cannot expect an entire city with BIM information to be loaded in the smartphone. But if you have a pretty powerful PC, you can actually go pretty far in how much geometry you add. Let's see.
Okay, thank you.
So in the meantime, this one is exporting, and I think the Revit one is imported. So this is how Revit geometry comes in. So you see the sketches that just got created. We have some people in here. I think I hid the trees in this view. I need to turn on the planting category. I think the crowd of your podcast is pretty familiar with Revit, right? So they understand Revit.
In Turkey, Revit, Allplan, Archicad, these are the main three softwares for BIM. And so it really looks great. So we can see exact details here in Revit also. So in one hand, we can decide to choose to detail in Revit when we come up with the concept model.
Yeah,
that's really great.
So let me just change the shaded colors a bit, then you see a bit better what's happening. So the props, the objects that we place, they get added as native Revit objects. So they just converted to RPC trees that are compatible with Enscape. I don't know if there's any Enscape users here, but we are compatible with that. And the people as well. The furniture, once it's our Arkio furniture, we make our own. I think I also hid the furniture in here. Let me just quickly turn that on.
You don't want to see us.
So that Arkio furniture will be its own components as well. So own families of Arkio objects. And if you load in something custom, like for example, this Barcelona chair got loaded, it will convert it to a family with the mesh inside. So we cannot unfortunately do magic when the mesh came into Arkio. We cannot make it into a solid, but everything that is Arkio made is proper Revit geometry, and we make everything in a family. So you can continue selecting all the instances in your project and replace them by your own components.
Johan, if I missed something, if I start the concept model in Revit, so I can export it through the Arkio, then I can also edit that model in Arkio, isn't it? I can pull.
So the model, you can best see it as a link, as an underlay. So we're making new geometry on top of it. So you're like based on where you're starting your sketch, you're making up like geometry or trees, for example. But we cannot edit the geometry from Rhino, SketchUp, and Revit. We just draw on it, and that geometry will be loaded back to the other applications.
Okay, I understood. By the way, we have another questions. How many people can join at once? We also, I think, answered that question, but it would be great.
I think Hilmar can answer that one, and let me just share.
We have tested this with up to 24 people, and we can probably even go beyond that. But at this point in time, that's kind of what we are promising to support. And many of those can obviously be editing the model at the same time, and some people may just be viewing or any combination thereof.
That's great. I think we have another question. Ece, you would like to ask it?
Okay. Ayça is asking, working from home is now part of our life due to Corona. Has Arkio become more common during this period?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes, for sure. I think this pandemic has shown the value in being able to use tools like this to collaborate, no matter where you are. And we've seen some firms start to use Arkio for exactly this purpose. And one of the most interesting examples was when we worked with a firm in the US that used Arkio to pitch a major project to a client during the pandemic. And everybody was just remote, looking at things through Zoom, and we were in Arkio presenting design proposals, and ultimately they won the project. So
this is quite impressive, actually.
Yes.
From my perspective also, I mean, experienced architects are mostly having hard time in using 3D softwares. I mean, they sit next to juniors and make commands like push this, pull this, and that. I mean, it's kind of annoying, actually. Now, I mean, they can even, get more involved in the process.
Absolutely.
Actually, new generation is all. They also know how to play game and with those sticks. But the old generation, just like me, I'm over than 30 years old. I always use these mouses to design and the other things. This is very different for us, but I really like the idea, and so we will get rid of all the mouses, keyboards, and now we can use our hands.
Just use your hands.
Yeah, this is really good. I think we need that actually, because now we use our pen and sketch paper to design something, but now we have amazing technology. Thanks to you guys, this is a really great product. I have another question for you. What you are thinking about Arkio's future? Now we will see a brilliant opening here, but what about the future? If it's not secret, can you share with us? So what we're expecting in Arkio's future?
So we just went live with version 1.0 this summer, as I said. And by the way, for everybody that's watching, you can go to arkio.is and download it and just try it yourself on whatever device you want to use, VR or phone, tablet, or PC. We will continue on the same path we have been on, which is to make Arkio an even stronger part of the workflow as it is today, make it easier to work with the existing design tools. We want to make Arkio even more accessible and easier to use because it's really the vision is that anybody should be able to use a tool like this. It shouldn't be difficult for people to jump in and start to move things around. Mm-hmm. And we want to also enable you to create buildings and geometry in Arkio that is difficult to do with other design tools, because in Arkio you can use your hands or these controllers, you can move around and at different scales, and that's just magical. And when you can do that with other people in the same virtual space, there's been nothing like that before.
That's really great. I'm also curious about the one thing. This looks like and architects and maybe engineers will use this product, but maybe the industrial design, so you can also create some more smaller scale. You can design a ring or a watch.
Yeah, you can change the scale.
So this has advantages for also that. So you can put your glasses, and so I think it shouldn't be limited with the architecture side. You have very advantages.
I think you're very correct, and we have seen people from all kinds of interesting fields use Arkio, including stage design, game design, landscape design. We've even had people that aren't professionals let us know that they managed to design their house and renovate their kitchen inside Arkio, and having never used 3D before.
Yeah, it will be very easy for them. You're right, actually. Yeah.
To feel the space.
Exactly. Thank you for accepting our invitation and guest to our BIM Fleet.
We covered many things in a short time. Really, thank you.
Exactly. We were. We thought 20 minutes will not be enough, but it's very enough. And thank you again. Do you want to add another things about Arkio, or do you want to say anything?
I think the last thing from us is that we are just getting started on the journey. What we are doing is something that hasn't been tried before, to do collaborative design like this in VR. So we would love to get as much feedback as possible. So again, if people can, try it out, let us know what they think through our forums or by sending us an email. That would be greatly appreciated. We love hearing from users.
That would be great. Let's remind them you can guys, you can visit Arkio's website. You can download in the Windows format or the other things you would like to try. It's very easy. You don't need very much time. It will be very quick, and you can start to play the buildings, play the forms. So if you have any comments about it, you can write through our YouTube channel. We can send directly to Hilmar and Johan. I think they will also answer that. And thank you again for this broadcast.
Thank you.
Before we end the broadcast, Hilmar and Johan, can you stay a little bit more so we can talk after the broadcast for 5 minutes?
Absolutely, happy to.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We will see you in another broadcast in BIM Police series. Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.